Frame perfect stage list. Oh wait, the stage list is trash. Holy shoot, this stage list is trash. You're right. Maybe I shouldn't enter. Anyway, here's the frame perfect stage list. So the starters: Battlefield, FD, Smashville, Pokemon 2, Town, Yoshi's, and Lilat. 7 starters. 7 starters. Which isn't bad, honestly. 7 starters isn't bad. And then you have 7 counter picks. So first things first, we have Battlefield and Yoshi's in starters. This is terrible. If you don't want to play on Battlefield, you have to use 2 of your strikes on Battlefield and Yoshi's. I don't know. I know what you're thinking. There's a big difference between Battlefield and Yoshi's. Really there is, but really there's not. The stages are pretty much the same. Different blast zones don't change the stage too much. However, then you step into the first zone of counterpicks. Just the first one. Small Battlefield. Bro, there's no way you actually have both of these legal. These stages do the exact same thing. Like, actually the exact same thing. Well, then you also have Kalos and Northern, which it's different blast zones, but it's kind of the same thing. The combos can be virtually similar. The things that you have from advantage on both of these stages is pretty big, but one stage is big, one stage is small. I actually think for like the similar archetypes, these are actually the biggest difference. I think story and Battlefield, generally if somebody can cheese you, they can cheese you. Small Battlefield and Pokemon Stadium, they're virtually the exact same stage. They just have like slightly different platform heights. I know people are gonna be like, oh, slightly different, that's enough. No, it's not enough for me. Unova, I think, is pretty different in comparison to like PS2 Small Battlefield. The platforms are really high, the stage is really spread out. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having Unova here. The more time goes on, I'm okay with Unova. I feel like the biggest problem is the lighting. I think the lighting in Unova is pretty monkas. But then you have the demons of modern stage lists. Castle Siege, WarioWare, and Yoshi's Brawl. You know what's funny? I actually don't mind majority of these stages. Majority being 2 of them. I think Castle Siege is trash. I think Castle Siege is absolute trash. The height difference is just abysmal. You can cheese people. You know, like how you cheese people on the side platform of of Town and City, right? You just do that on Castle Siege. The side blast zones are so small, and there's a lot of times where I think the front part of the gate literally blocks your vision. I'd actually be okay with this rule set. As many gripes as I have, I've been through worse. I think just get rid of Castle Siege and I'm good. But Yoshi's Brawl and WarioWare. So one thing that I like yep, thank you for the prime. One thing I like about Yoshi's Brawl and WarioWare, they're small stages. In a sea of generally like big stages, Yoshi's Brawl and WarioWare are small stages. And I actually think that's good. I think having small stages and a big stage rule set is pretty important. I don't think having 2 small stages in regards to like this, which they're pretty extreme, don't get me wrong, but I don't think there's much problems with having extremes. But in a sea of 14 stages, 2 small stages doesn't really matter. In a sea of like 7 to 8, 2 small stages matters significantly more. Even one small stage matters a lot. Like Pokemon Stadium 2, the blast zones are pretty small, you know? Same thing with like small Battlefield. You know, people can kill vertically pretty easily. But I'm just not the biggest fan of throwing them in with such a big rule set. It's much easier, I think, to gain data with having like smaller stage lists and having some type of variety in them. Like, great example, for some weird reason, we have Lilat still legal. I don't like Lilat. I just don't like Slants as a whole. But you know, we get a lot of data having live. You can see what people like and don't like about them, so on and so forth, right? But then when you have 14 stages, it kind of just gets rid of that, especially since these stages aren't common and you have full DSR. I feel like most of the time people are just gonna ban this and just hope for the best, and I don't like rule sets like that. I don't like rule sets where I have to ban stages because I don't like them, or I'm not familiar with them, or I'm gonna get cheesed on them, and I have to just accept the counter pick, because I think that sucks. Having more bans, well, the stage list having full DSR kind of favors like best of five. You don't have to go back to the same stage, which is good. If you don't know what DSR is, DSR stands for Dave's Stupid Rule. You cannot go to any stage that you want on, that you personally want on. So you can counter pick a stage that your opponent want on, but you can't counter pick a stage that you want on. But yes, I'm not the biggest fan for you guys know it's been a while. I don't like slants, so these two stages are just no-go. This is the biggest slant in competitive, like in my competitive Smash history. This is also a very big no-no. So I don't like 3 of the stages on this. I'm fine with this, if I want to be completely honest. I'm not fine with Battlefield Yoshi's. I'm not fine with Pokemon Small Battlefield. I think one or the other is good enough. Even though in modern rule sets we do have both. I just think in general, I think it's silly. But having both as a starter, I think is pretty mean. Seeing as how each person gets 3 bans for starters. Let's say you don't want to play on Battlefields, right? So you spend 2 of your bans on this. Then you have FD. You have 2 kind of cramped stages, and you have 1 big stage and Pokemon. So it's tough. Because you can't get rid of the Battlefields and the cramped stages because you only have 3 bans, right? FD's pretty ridiculous if you really like. FD's pretty ridiculous. It's really easy to just get stuck in disadvantage on FD and not really be able to get back. Like when I was playing Little Mac, sometimes you just get hit and you just can't land. In general though, again, I don't mind the variety. Like at the end of the day, if you're a TO, you can run a tournament any way that you want to. And as a player, you kind of just have to suck it up. It's pretty unfortunate. You can also just not enter. But yeah, if you do want to enter in the tournament, then you do have to suck it up. I do think there are benefits. Like I personally, I would probably ban Castle Siege and leave these 2 open, just because I feel like I'm comfortable enough with small stages. That's just something that me as a player, I've grinded out, both when Yoshi's Brawl was legal in early days and just in general. Like I don't mind both losing my stocks early and taking stocks early. It's not something that I personally mind as a player. I also don't mind having 2 Battlefields because I've just played on 2 Battlefields for so long that I'm just good on Battlefield. And I also don't mind having 2 Pokemon Stadiums. It's Pokemon Stadium. However, this isn't about what I mind or what I don't mind. I think like a more balanced stage list as a whole. First, I just think it shouldn't have Castle Siege. Second, I think you should have one or the other. These stages are pretty dang interchangeable. There's not really that much that changes between these 2 stages. And if you do have Battlefield and Yoshi's Story, I would very much enjoy having them separate in starters and counter picks in comparison to having them both as starters. That's really my only gripes with this, because we've had Slants for so long. I just feel like there's nothing as a player that I can do to stop Slants existing. So I'm kind of over it, sadly. Kalos and Northern Cave are different, but it's such a drastic blast zone difference that it's pretty massive. It's pretty massive. Plus, Northern Cave platform is really low. A lot of characters can pressure this with short hop, kind of similar to like Battlefield, while you have to full hop for the bigger sides. But I do think Northern Cave and Kalos has much different, like, it has a much different feeling than Yoshi's and Battlefield. It's the actual difference. I think it's slight platform height, a very slight platform height. And so let's say like the platforms are here on a small Battlefield. The platforms are here, I think, on PS2. What makes you know it different? Well, instead of the platforms being here, they go over here. Well, they go like over here. They're higher, they're at the ends of the stage, so it gives you kind of more of a room to fight in the middle. While PS2 and small battlefield platforms are not like hugging the edge really, they're a little farther out, so it's a little different. Platform height matters a lot. No, platform height will matter a lot for like very niche things, but the general idea of PS2 and small battlefield and the pros and the cons that they give is roughly the same. It's roughly the same. This tourney is on Sunday. But yeah, I don't think having a rule set like this is bad and like instant taboo. I like what he's doing. Especially in this time period where we're still online. You know, get data, find out what you want to do with it. You know, what's wrong with Pokemon Stadium? Nothing's wrong with Pokemon Stadium. Having Pokemon Stadium and small battlefield in the same rule set is a problem. I think that's where the problem lies. They're the exact same stage. Do you like one more than the other? I like small battlefield. I'm a big fan of just making it easier for people that don't watch the game to integrate themselves into the game. So I'm gonna be a big fan of FD and Battlefield just being legal as a whole, and small battlefield because now this is available in Elite Smash. So I think these 3 stages, no matter what I think these are the best stages. I think these are the best stages for rule sets. If I had a full rule set of just these 3 stages, I would be okay with it. Because I feel like a lot of people do play the game this way. Just makes it easier to watch, right? But then you start throwing in these stages and people are like, what the fuck? Right? Make my rule set. I actually like a Hazardous on rule set. If I did have it, which Hazardous on, I think you have small battlefield, FD, Smashville. I think you have Town and Fountain. And I think you have Fountain as a counter pick. And I actually think that rule set's really good. But with Hazards off, I think needs WarioWare for counter pick. With Hazards on, you're crazy. With Hazards off, I low-key think Battlefield FD small battlefield is a decent formula. But I think Smashville is really polarizing. I think Smashville is actually pretty tough. If you have small battlefield, you don't take PS2. You can keep Town. I think having Northern Cave over Kalos is big because let's think about it. Like you have big stage, medium, and let's consider Smashville small, right? I think that stage list is more than enough for a Hazards off stage list. I don't have too many problems with it, but you might end up in a situation where like bans don't matter as much because you get like one ban, no DSR or something. That's where you get into like the specifics. Do you think FD should be a counter pick? I don't really have a preference. I think FD is pretty ridiculous, but so are a lot of other stages. What does 1-2-2-1 mean? 1-2-2-1 is the order of stage striking. So when you start a set, all of these stages are on the table. Usually you flip a coin or rock, paper, scissors to see who strikes first. So the first person will ban one stage that they don't want to play on. So let's say hypothetically I go first, right? I ban Battlefield. Let's say you go next. So you strike 2 stages. So you ban 2 stages you don't want to play on. So let's say you ban Lilat and Yoshi's Story. So then now it's my turn. I ban 2 stages. Let's say I ban FD and Smashville. And then you ban 1 stage, and then we're left with 1 stage, so we play on that stage. So between Town and City and Pokemon Stadium 2, let's say you don't want to play on Town and City, so you strike Town and City, so we play on Pokemon Stadium 2. Just letting your opponent ban stages first, then we just end up going to PS2. I always have a problem with the way rule sets work in Smash. Just one specific thing, which I think is very silly. When you counterpick a stage, your opponent gets to pick their character. I think that's so weird. How do you counterpick a stage and then your opponent just switches? I think that just doesn't make any sense. That's not even a counterpick at that point. Like, if people play multiple characters, you can just never counterpick them. It's ingrained in Smash culture. I'm not the biggest fan, because you can still counterpick that character per se, but I think it'd be a lot better if it was character pick, stage pick. I think that would make a lot more sense, if I want to be honest. Because that way you can use your stage pick to counterpick the character that they pick. However, if you pick a stage and they just pick, like, let's say you go to Yoshi's and they pick Mario, where's the counterpick? there is no counterpick. When do bans come into play? So let's say I won game 1 on Pokemon Stadium 2, right? I use my bans. Let's say I ban Yoshi's Brawl, Castle Siege, and WarioWare, because 90% of the players are going to do that. Then you pick a stage. So let's say you pick Final Destination. And then I pick my character, and then you pick your character. I even think it'd be cool if it was I pick my character, you pick your character, and then I ban the stages I don't want to play in that matchup. That'd be sick. That'd actually be sick. Like, imagine I pick Sheik and you switch to Mario, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to play against Mario on Battlefield Yoshi's in this stage, right? I think that'd be really cool. But it's not the way things are. But I've talked about rule sets and ranted about rule sets for like 200% of my life. I'm kind of over it. I don't think as a player, the way it feels as a player, I don't think rule sets really cater towards players, and I haven't felt this way for a couple years now. And I just don't think there's much I can do about it. So yeah, let's play some Smash.